Hey guys, this is Paul Acevedo of Windows Central coming at you from PAX East in Boston.
Hey, I'm Tom Happ from Thomas Happ Games, LLC.
Alright, so what games have you made so far?
Axiom Verge.
What did you do before you worked on Axiom Verge?
So before that, I was a Leaf Node programmer for Petroglyph Games in Las Vegas, and I just made RTS games.
Now it seems that you're working exclusively on Metroidvania-style platformers?
Correct. I mean, I wouldn't say that's all I ever want to work on, but it's what I'm doing at the moment.
Let's talk about how it came to be. Like, what was the initial idea?
So basically, I was trying to have fun. As a break from work, I would come home at the end of the day and try to think about what would be the most fun NES game that I could probably, that I could make. So I, was trying to figure out a way to combine the elements of my favorite classic games: Blaster Master, Rygar, Bionic Commando, Contra, Metroid, of course. Tried, every different concept I could think of, and eventually, settled on, what became of the final game.
So did you have outside help on this, or you did it all on your own?
I did it all on my own.
So were you a pixel artist before this? You had a lot of different kinds of experience?
I had been an animator and a programmer and a technical artist. Can't say that I did a lot of pixel art before.
When you decided you were going to make an NES game, then you must have kind of just studied the form a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things. If you're an artist of any kind, when you try to switch from one form of art to another, you already, from your previous experience, have a basis to start with. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad to, go from one mode to the other, I wouldn't say.
Focusing on the game itself, tell us a little bit about the story.
In Axiom Verge, you play as a scientist who has a failed experiment after which he wakes up in a strange alien world and has to figure out what's going on.
I noticed the introduction. It kind of reminds me of the beginning of Another World or Out of This World. Was that an intentional homage?
I wouldn't say it wasn't overtly intentional, but it was in the back of my mind. The similarity, in that game, he's working on a particle accelerator. In this game, they're working on a Z pinch, laser, and they both end with a protagonist waking up somewhere else. So they have that in common.
So Axiom Verge has a big variety of weapons. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, my first thought was to try and give the players something more interesting to try and pick up besides just ammunition expansions. The typical trope for Metroid or Zelda or something like that is that you find more and more bombs or more arrows or whatever, and I just wanted to have there be some other differences. I wanted something that could actually change the mechanics. So I tried to make sure that every weapon is different from the others and has something to offer that no other weapon can offer. So there's about 23 of them in all. Once you have to play through the game, I think 3 times to get them all, but each one has a different circumstance that it's best for.
So you've got a new Game Plus mode of some sort?
Not really, but it does keep track as you're playing what you've done in previous playthroughs, so it knows which weapons to give out to you when you go through the final secret world of each playthrough.
Oh, wow. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things we can find that help us get around in this game?
Yeah, it's a big, lock and key kind of mechanism. The main weapon that you find, maybe 3 hours, 2 hours into the game is the glitch ray. It's called the address disruptor, but it's basically used to glitch the enemies, and every enemy has a different effect when you glitch them. So, much of the puzzles and secrets in the game revolve around glitching the enemies and seeing how you can use that to your advantage based on what happens to them.
Very cool. In this game, we meet some alien characters. They're kind of giant heads, and they kind of talk like Russian people. Was that intentional?
Yeah, they're something like a far future civilization that has roots in Russian, or I would say Eastern steppe lands kind of people. So their language is like a mix of Russian and other things.
So Axiom Verge has been a big success. It's pretty popular. Is there anything that you wanted to fit into this one that you couldn't really?
It's hard to say. Like, I pretty much did everything I wanted. I do wish that, like, towards the end of development, I wanted to make sure that every creature has a unique glitch. And I did do that, but like, some of them are kind of like similar to each other. And I really wish, there's maybe like 20% of the enemies are like, their glitch is just kind of turns them into another kind of enemy or slows them down. And I really wish that I had made it so that every single enemy could have a puzzle-solving element to it. It was just kind of like I was running out of time, and I wanted to ship the game. So maybe for the next game, I'll be able to make sure I can do that.
Yeah, you put an immense amount of time into this one. So it seems 5 years, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. And now that it's been a success on Steam and PlayStation platforms, you're bringing it to Xbox One. Can you tell us about that?
Sure, yeah. So, the original PlayStation 4 version was done in MonoGame, which actually has its roots in Xna. The Xbox One port was actually done by Sickhead Games, who make MonoGame and are responsible for porting that to the PlayStation 4 and the Vita and now the Xbox One. That was basically almost like a favor they did, or as like a demonstration to Microsoft of their abilities. So it was kind of a freebie, but it worked out great. So now it's coming out on that and other platforms as well.
So your game is going to basically open the floodgates for MonoGame titles to come to Xbox One?
Yes, yeah. So a lot of people have been wondering, like, why is there no Xna games on Xbox One? But the Xna program was actually like disbanded partway through the Xbox 360 life cycle, so there wasn't any plan, like forward compatibility plan going on. So it sort of took this long, rambling route, where originally it was on 360, then it moved to PlayStation 4 and Vita, and like finally it's come back around again to Xbox One.
And when can we expect the Xbox One version to be ready?
It's probably going to be like later June, July, something like that. But that's not set in stone. Things could always change.
Well, as a big fan of the game, it just can't come soon enough.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right, guys, read our full preview at windowscentral.com. Follow us on Twitter and Twitch. And whatever you do, don't hate. Appreciate.